Have you ever wondered about the final moments of one of the most influential spiritual leaders of our time? The last words spoken by Pope John Paul II have captivated the curiosity of millions of Christians worldwide. Did the Pope's last statements hint at revelations about the end of times? Stay tuned as we uncover the profound mystery behind his final message. What were the exact words uttered by Pope John Paul II before he passed away? Were they a cryptic prophecy or a simple farewell? And most importantly, what does this mean for the future of Christianity? Join us as we explore the events leading up to his last breath and delve into the possible meanings behind his final utterances. This journey through his final moments will leave you both enlightened and intrigued. Pope John Paul II, born Karol Józef Wojtyła, was a towering figure in the Catholic Church and a global icon. His papacy, lasting over 26 years, was marked by his profound spiritual leadership, his role in the fall of communism in Eastern Europe, and his efforts to bridge the gap between different faiths. As his health declined in the early 2000s, the world watched closely, anticipating his every move and word. His final days were a testament to his unwavering faith and resilience. Despite his failing health, he continued to lead and inspire millions. His presence was not just a beacon for Catholics, but also a symbol of hope and strength for people of all faiths. His ability to connect with individuals on a deeply personal level made his words and actions resonate even more profoundly. On April 2, 2005, the world lost this remarkable leader. The loss marked the end of an era, but also sparked a wave of reflection and speculation. Pope John Paul II's final words have been a subject of intense interest and debate. Were they a mere reflection of his personal faith, or did they carry a hidden message meant to be deciphered by the faithful? In this video, we'll explore the context of Pope John Paul II's last words, analyze eyewitness accounts, and examine the various interpretations and speculations that have emerged since his passing. We'll delve into the historical and religious significance of his final message and try to understand its implications for both the present and the future. Join us as we journey through the life, final days, and enduring legacy of Pope John Paul II. Whether you're a devout follower of the Catholic faith, a student of history, or simply curious about eschatological prophecies, this exploration will offer valuable insights and a deeper understanding of one of the most pivotal moments in recent religious history. Karol Józef Wojtyła, who would later become Pope John Paul II, was born on May 18, 1920, in Wadowice, Poland. His early life was marked by a deep sense of faith and devotion instilled by his parents. His mother Emilia and his father Karol Sr., a retired army officer, took on the roles of both parent and mentor. The young Karol was known for his academic excellence and his passion for sports, particularly soccer and skiing. Despite the hardships he faced, including the death of his older brother Edmund and the impact of World War II on his homeland, Karol remained steadfast in his faith. He attended Jagiellonian University in Krakow, where he studied literature and philosophy. However, his academic pursuits were interrupted by the Nazi occupation of Poland. During this dark period, Karol worked in a quarry and later in a factory to avoid deportation to Germany. Pope John Paul II mustered the strength to speak his final words. According to those present, his last utterance was a poignant message to the young people he had always championed. He said, "Let me go to the house of the Father." These words, filled with faith and peace, reflected his lifelong devotion to God and his readiness to embrace the afterlife. Several individuals were present during Pope John Paul II's final moments, including his personal secretary, Stanislaw Dziwisz, who later became a cardinal. Their testimonies describe a serene and spiritually charged atmosphere, highlighting the Pope's unwavering faith and calm demeanor in the face of death. This peaceful resolve provided inspiration and comfort to those around him. As news of the Pope's deteriorating health spread, a global outpouring of prayers and support ensued. Thousands gathered in St. Peter's Square, holding vigils and praying for him. World leaders and religious figures sent messages of support, acknowledging his profound impact on global affairs and interfaith relations. On the evening of April 2, 2005, at 9:37 p.m. Vatican time, Pope John Paul II passed away. The Vatican announced his death, and the bells of St. Peter's Basilica tolled to mark the end of his extraordinary life. His passing was a significant historical moment, bringing an end to a papacy that had profoundly shaped the modern world. The immediate aftermath of his death saw a global outpouring of grief and reflection. People from all walks of life, regardless of their faith, mourned the loss of a leader who had touched their lives in countless ways. His funeral, held on April 8, 2005, was attended by millions, including dignitaries from around the world. It was one of the largest gatherings of world leaders in history, a testament to the final days of Pope John Paul II's life were a powerful testament to his faith, strength, and dedication. His willingness to endure suffering publicly and his serene acceptance of death left a lasting legacy. His final words, "Let me go to the house of the Father," continue to resonate with people worldwide, serving as a poignant reminder of his deep spirituality and unwavering faith. As Pope John Paul II lay on his deathbed, his room was filled with a sense of solemnity and reverence. Those closest to him, including his personal secretary Cardinal Stanislaw Dziwisz, several aides and medical staff, were there to provide comfort and support. Despite his frail condition, the Pope remained conscious and lucid, his mind as sharp as ever. In the moments leading up to his death, Pope John Paul II uttered words that would become etched in history. His final utterance, spoken with a voice weakened by illness but strengthened by faith, was, "Let me go to the house of the Father." This simple yet profound statement encapsulated his lifelong devotion to God and his acceptance of death as a return to his divine Creator. Those present during Pope John Paul II's final moments have shared their personal accounts, adding depth and context to his last words. Cardinal Stanislaw Dziwisz, who had been at the Pope's side for decades, described the scene with poignant clarity, noting the Pope's serene face and eyes reflecting deep peace and readiness. Other aides recounted how the Pope clasped their hands, offering a final blessing and a look of gratitude. Medical staff attending to the Pope also shared insights into his final moments. Dr. Renato Buzzonetti, the Pope's personal physician, spoke of the Pope's remarkable resilience and the grace with which he faced his final hours. Despite the physical pain and medical challenges, Pope John Paul II's spirit remained unbroken, a testament to his unwavering faith. The Pope's last words, "Let me go to the house of the Father," have been the subject of much reflection and interpretation. For many, these words clearly expressed his readiness to leave this world and return to the embrace of God. They reflected his deep spirituality and unwavering belief in the afterlife. The phrase, "house of the Father," resonated deeply with the faithful, encapsulating the essence of his teachings and life's work. Christians around the world view the house of the Father as the heavenly abode promised to the faithful. Some theologians interpret the Pope's final words as a message of hope and reassurance to the faithful, suggesting that in his final moments, Pope John Paul II affirmed his belief in eternal life and offered a transition to a higher existence. This interpretation aligns with the teachings of the Catholic Church and the Pope's lifelong mission to spread the message of hope and salvation. The implications of Pope John Paul II's statements extend beyond theological discourse. They have the potential to influence how Christians understand their faith and role in society. By framing the house of the Father within the context of socio-political struggles, Pope John Paul II called on believers to recognize the enduring relevance of God's power and to actively engage in the work of justice and compassion in their communities. To fully appreciate the significance of Pope John Paul II's final words, it's essential to consider the historical context of his papacy. His tenure as Pope was marked by profound changes in the world and within the Catholic Church. He witnessed and influenced the fall of communism in Eastern Europe, addressed social and moral issues, and sought to bridge gaps between different faiths. His leadership was characterized by intellectual rigor, deep faith, and a commitment to human dignity. Throughout his life, Pope John Paul II faced numerous challenges, both personal and political. His experiences with the complexities of modernity shaped his worldview and his approach to his papal duties. His final words can be seen as the culmination of a lifetime of faith and service, a fitting end to a life dedicated to the principles of love, compassion, and justice. In the Catholic tradition, the final words of a saintly figure are often regarded with great reverence and significance. Pope John Paul II's last words are no exception. They are seen as a final testament to his faith and a reflection of his unwavering belief in the teachings of Jesus Christ. For many believers, these words offer comfort and inspiration, reinforcing the promise of eternal life and the hope of reunion with God. The phrase, "House of the Father," is rooted in biblical tradition, echoing passages from the New Testament, where Jesus speaks of preparing a place for his followers in the house of God. By invoking this imagery, Pope John Paul II's final words connected his personal faith journey with the broader Christian narrative, offering a timeless message of hope and redemption. The simplicity and profundity of Pope John Paul II's last words have sparked various interpretations and speculations. Some have wondered if there was a deeper, perhaps prophetic, meaning behind them. Did the Pope foresee events that would unfold after his passing? Was there a hidden message meant for the faithful or for future generations? While such speculations are intriguing, it is essential to approach them with caution. The Pope's final words were a personal expression of his faith and readiness to meet his Creator. Any additional layers of meaning, while interesting to consider, should not overshadow the fundamental message of faith and hope that he conveyed. Pope John Paul II's last words, spoken in the quietude of his final moments, continue to resonate with people around the world. They are a testament to his unwavering faith, acceptance of death, and deep belief in the promise of eternal life. As we reflect on these words, we are reminded of the enduring legacy of a man who dedicated his life to serving God and humanity. Next, we will explore the various interpretations and speculations surrounding his final words, delve into the historical and religious context of his message, and examine the impact and legacy of Pope John Paul II. Stay with us as we continue this journey of discovery and reflection. The final words of Pope John Paul II, "Let me go to the house of the Father," have sparked a multitude of interpretations among theologians, historians, and believers. Theologians, scholars, and the faithful have offered a range of interpretations of Pope John Paul II's final words. One common interpretation is that these words were a straightforward expression of his readiness to meet God. For a man whose life was so deeply rooted in faith, it seems fitting that his last words would declare his belief in the afterlife and his desire to be reunited with his Creator. Some theologians argue that these words can be seen as a final pastoral act aimed at comforting those around him and the broader Christian community. By affirming his faith in the face of death, Pope John Paul II provided a powerful example of confronting mortality with grace and confidence in God's promise of eternal life. Beyond their immediate meaning, Pope John Paul II's last words have also fueled speculations about their possible prophetic nature. Some wonder if the Pope, in his final moments, alluded to eschatological themes, hinting at events to come or the nearing of the end times. This speculation is partly rooted in the Pope's own writings and speeches, where he often spoke about the need for humanity to prepare for Christ's return and the final judgment. In his encyclical Redemptor Hominis, Pope John Paul II emphasized the importance of being vigilant and ready for the second coming of Christ. This, combined with his deep theological knowledge and spiritual insight, has led some to believe that his last words may carry a deeper prophetic significance. However, it is important to approach these speculations with caution. While the idea of a prophetic message is intriguing, it is also possible that the Pope's final words were simply a personal reflection of his faith and his acceptance of death. As with many aspects of religious interpretation, the true meaning may be known only to the individual and to God. Those who were present during Pope John Paul II's final moments have shared their reflections on his last words, adding further dimensions to their interpretation. Cardinal Stanisław Dziwisz, who was at the Pope's side, described the atmosphere in the room as one of profound peace and spiritual presence. He emphasized that the Pope's words were spoken with a sense of calm and assurance, reflecting his deep trust in God. Other close aides and confidants have echoed this sentiment, describing how the Pope's final words served as a source of comfort and inspiration for them. The Pope's declaration was a natural extension of the faith he had lived and preached throughout his life. His willingness to embrace death with such serenity and hope left a lasting impact on those who witnessed it. From a theological perspective, Pope John Paul II's last words can be analyzed within the broader context of Christian eschatology. In Christian doctrine, the house of the Father is often understood as a reference to heaven, a place of eternal communion with God. This concept is deeply rooted in the teachings of Jesus, who spoke of preparing a place for his followers in his Father's house. John 14:2-3. By invoking this imagery, Pope John Paul II was aligning his personal faith journey with the core promises of Christianity. His words can be seen as an affirmation of his belief in the resurrection and the life to come. This theological interpretation reinforces the idea that the Pope's final message was one of hope and reassurance, offering a glimpse of the eternal life that awaits the faithful. To fully grasp the significance of Pope John Paul II's last words, it's helpful to look at the historical context of eschatological beliefs within the Catholic Church. Throughout history, the Church has navigated the tension between living in the present world and anticipating the world to come. This eschatological focus has driven many theological developments and spiritual movements. Pope John Paul II, with his deep understanding of church history and doctrine, often emphasized the need for Christians to live with an awareness of humanity's ultimate destiny. His teachings on eschatology weren't about predicting specific events, but about encouraging the faithful to live in a way that prepares them for their final encounter with God. The Pope's final words have had a profound impact on the faithful, inspiring numerous reflections, sermons, and writings. For many, these words serve as a reminder of the importance of living a life of faith and preparing for the eventual encounter with God. They have been quoted in various religious contexts, from personal prayers to public homilies, underscoring their enduring resonance. The simplicity and profundity of "Let me go to the house of the Father" have made them a powerful statement of faith that transcends cultural and theological boundaries. They encapsulate a message of hope and trust in God's promise, offering comfort to those who mourn and inspiration to those who seek to deepen their spiritual journey. In today's world, where uncertainty and anxiety about the future are common, Pope John Paul II's last words continue to resonate with contemporary relevance. They remind us of the importance of faith and the need to maintain a perspective that looks beyond the immediate challenges of life. During times of crisis or personal struggle, these words can serve as a beacon of hope, encouraging individuals to trust in God's plan and find peace in the promise of eternal life. The interpretations and speculations surrounding Pope John Paul II's final words reveal the profound impact of his faith and leadership. Whether seen as a personal declaration, a pastoral message, or a prophetic statement, these words continue to inspire and challenge believers worldwide. As we reflect on their meaning, we are reminded of the enduring legacy of Pope John Paul II and his unwavering commitment to the principles of love, faith, and hope. Next, we will delve into the historical and religious context of his message and examine the impact and legacy of Pope John Paul II. Join us as we continue this journey of discovery and reflection. To fully grasp the significance of Pope John Paul II's final words, it's essential to place them within the broader historical context of his life and times. Born in 1920 in Wadowice, Poland, Karol Józef Wojtyła grew up during a period of immense political and social upheaval. Pope John Paul II's papacy was characterized by a strong emphasis on the universal call to holiness and the importance of evangelization. He sought to renew the Church's mission in the modern world, urging the faithful to witness their faith in all aspects of life. His extensive travels, spanning over 100 countries, aimed to bring the message of Christ to people of diverse cultures and backgrounds. Throughout his papacy, one of the central themes for Pope John Paul II was the call to a new evangelization, a renewed proclamation of the gospel to those who had faced crises of faith or drifted away from the Church. Rooted in his conviction that the Church must engage with the modern world while remaining faithful to its core teachings, this mission was foundational to his leadership. He frequently addressed eschatological themes, urging believers to live with an awareness of humanity's ultimate destiny. Emphasizing vigilance and readiness for the second coming of Christ, he grounded his teachings deeply in Christian eschatology. His approach to this topic focused not on predicting the future, but on instilling hope and a sense of responsibility among Christians. Integral to Pope John Paul II's legacy was his commitment to interfaith dialogue. He recognized the importance of fostering understanding and peace between different religious traditions. This commitment was evident in his groundbreaking visits to synagogues, mosques, and meetings with leaders of various faiths. His efforts in interfaith dialogue went beyond symbolism. They were rooted in genuine respect for others' religious beliefs and a sincere desire for global unity. He aimed to cultivate a culture of dialogue capable of addressing the underlying causes of conflict and advancing a more just and peaceful world. Within the Church, Pope John Paul II addressed significant issues such as the role of women, the sanctity of family life, and the need for pastoral care in a rapidly changing society. His canonization of numerous saints underscored his belief in the universal call to holiness and the diverse ways in which individuals can live out their faith. Pope John Paul II's final words, "Let me go to the house of the Father," resonate deeply when considered within the historical and religious context of his life and service. His papacy was defined by a steadfast commitment to faith, justice, and the teachings of Christ, leaving an enduring impact on the Catholic Church and the world. These words continue to inspire believers to live with hope and courage, reflecting his unwavering belief in the promises of God. Throughout his life, Pope John Paul II emphasized the universal love of God, reaching out across religious boundaries to promote understanding and peace. His teachings encouraged Christians to embody God's love through acts of charity, compassion, and justice, emphasizing the importance of prayer and sacraments in nurturing a faithful life. The passing of Pope John Paul II in 2005 sparked a global outpouring of grief, underscoring his profound connection with people from diverse backgrounds. His canonization as a saint further solidified his legacy, affirming his influence on Catholic doctrine and practice, including his advocacy for interfaith dialogue and social justice. Pope John Paul II's life and teachings continue to resonate today, offering lessons in faith, resilience, and compassion. His final words serve as a poignant reminder of the promise of eternal life and the enduring hope found in living out one's faith. Thank you for joining us on this journey through Pope John Paul II's legacy. If you found this exploration meaningful, please consider subscribing to our channel and sharing this message of faith and inspiration with others. Together we can continue to spread his message of love and hope in our world.